travel the cold lane. Of course I came to show you shrapnel.
Hello, this is Wicked Shrapnel, and I have a domination for you on Trailer Park. And yes, I busted out the MW2 the other night for like the first time since Black Ops came out. And I had fun playing it, but I'm not really gonna talk about the game. I just wanted to throw a game up so I could talk about growing up. And I don't want to grow up. I mean, I think society and like your parents and just outside pressures from people and just what you're supposed to do. They expect you to, you go to school, you're born and you're a kid and you play, and then you go to school and you learn things, and then you go to college and you're supposed to learn a career, and then you're supposed to get a job, and then somewhere in that time you're supposed to find a girl and get married and have kids and raise a family and have all these responsibilities. And really the idea of it just kind of sucks to me. I mean, I did most of it. I went to school and I went to college, but I dropped out. But I still went to like technical trade schools and got certifications for computer skills that helped me get a good career. But getting married and having children and having all those responsibilities for the rest of your life is really a frightening thing to me rather than a joy. And I don't know. I just wanted to kind of talk about it. Just get what I was thinking all out loud. And I would really never think of it much, except I'm an only child. So I guess I'm probably just selfish. I mean, I'm sure that when you had brothers and sisters growing up, that you always had to share and you had responsibilities, but I kind of had a very independent childhood where I could just about do whatever I wanted to do, short of breaking the law. And I had to be at home at a certain time, but I can go out with my friends and do what I wanted to. I had a pretty independent childhood, and I was able to entertain myself pretty easily, and I'm very comfortable just being by myself and doing what I want to do. And I've been in long relationships. Well, long to me is like over a year, but whenever I'm in those relationships, you always start to get more pressures. I've lived with girls for 6 months to a year, multiple occasions, and things are always cool for a while, but then they always want more, and then always wanting to go to the next step. You can't just have like a cool relationship and live together and just let that go on forever. They always like, oh, are we gonna get engaged, or and start talking about kids, and oh my goodness, just the thought of it. Like, if you have a kid, I know people that are just irresponsible, just pop kids out left and right and go on welfare, and kids are a paycheck to them from the government. But I'm not that type of dude. I would, I understand the responsibilities of having a child and raising a child and all the time and effort that would go into making a good person. and that's it. Just, I know that it would be a lot of work, and it's never over. Like, you think your kids will grow up and be 18 years old and just move out of the house and you don't have any responsibilities, but not all kids are like that. I mean, if I had a kid like myself, I was pretty much that way. I haven't been a burden to my parents. I've been able to get out on my own and take care of myself in the world, but there's a lot of kids that get to be 18 or into their late 20s and they're still living with their parents and have no direction in life. And I would really be disappointed if I had one of those kids that never moved out of the house. And it's not just people that are, I don't know, because I know good, wealthy, good-to-do people that kids are still living with them into their late 20s, probably into their 30s. And I'm 32 years old now, so thinking about this kind of thing, I mean, my mom reminds me that goes back. All right, I'm getting scattered, but it goes back to my mom and being an only child. So I'm like the only person to carry on the family name for my family. So my mom's like, oh, when are you gonna get married and have kids? And I'm like, never. And then she would even get like really emotional, like, why won't you get married and just settle down and do what normal people do? I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just not very appealing to me. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry to be a disappointment on that front, but I'm very comfortable just being able to do whatever I want to do. And I don't know. That seems cool to me, but as far as the way society looks at it and your parents look at it, like you're supposed to do a certain thing, and if you don't do it, you're not normal. Well, I am perfectly fine with not being normal. I'm very happy not being normal. I think it's pretty cool. Being normal is boring. But I mean, I've been in relationships with girls that I was totally in love with, and it's usually the girls that I'm not really in love with is the ones that are really wanting to settle down, but the ones that I'm in love with then they get all freaked out and they don't want to be with me. So it's weird how people work that way. You always want the ones that don't want you, and then the ones that you don't want are the ones that want you. It's really hard to find that mutual, I'm so in love with you and want to live with you forever, and they feel the same way about you. It usually only goes one way. And I guess I just haven't found the mutual attraction. It might just happen. I mean, but I'm not going out looking for it. I'm definitely not trying to force it. I'm perfectly fine with going out and having one-night stands and satisfying that need every once in a while, and then the rest of the time do what I want. Yeah, that's a horrible thing to say, but it's true. The problem is my one-night stands usually turn into like 6 month to 1 year night stands. They just don't know when to leave. But I mean, I am getting older. I'm 32 years old, and I'm already starting to get like some gray hairs on my temples. So mortality starts to become a realization that you're not going to live forever when you start getting gray hairs. If you even got a gray hair like in the pubic region, which is really scary. Make sure to pluck that one real quick, but that one definitely reminds you that you're going to be dying someday. When your body starts shutting down functions, they're like, all right, we gotta shut down some processes here if we're gonna keep this ship running. What do we got here? We got eyesight, brain function, hearing, ball hair color. Yeah, shut down ball hair color. We'll shut that down. We'll keep the eyes and ears for now, but we're gonna have to start shutting stuff down soon. But yeah, so that was my little talk about that. And let me know what you guys think. I know if you're married with children, you definitely don't get too much time to play video games and do what you want. You have responsibilities, and that kind of thing just freaks me out. So I think I'm gonna end this note on a text message that somebody sent me that I thought really fit my lifestyle and my philosophy. It says, once upon a time, a prince asked a beautiful princess, will you marry me? And the princess said no. And the prince lived happily ever after, and rode motorcycles and banged skinny big-titted broads, and played video games and bought new cars, and went to strip clubs and dated women half his age, and drank whiskey, beer, and Captain Morgan, and never heard bitching, and never paid child support or alimony, and kept his house and his guns, and never got cheated on while he was at work, and all his friends and family thought he was fucking cool as hell, and he had tons of money in the bank, and left the toilet seat up. The end. So, I thought that story really fit my philosophy. Because I've been to the point where I wanted to take it to the next step of the relationship with a girl, and they backed out, and I lived happily ever after, and pretty much do all those things that was in the fairy tale. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I think if I ever do have kids, it'll probably be an accident. Pretty sure I was an accident. I mean, if your parents got married and then 9 months later you were born, then you were probably an accident too. They're like, I'm pregnant. I think we're gonna have to get married. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. And I'm probably not gonna be playing too much Modern Warfare 2 anymore, even though I totally kick ass at it. Alright, later.